Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Brandify Take One Expert Speak. This week, we have with us somebody who's an Instagram influencer, a person who has more than 1.86 lakh followers on Instagram, 80,000 plus followers on YouTube. He is an author of a book, he's a coach, and he actually helps people make more money through Instagram. He also is known for giving tips on how to increase your personal brand on Instagram. So I have with me the one and only India's leading Instagram influencer with me today, Saurabh Jain. Hi, Saurabh. Welcome to this episode.
Hi, Nandita. Happy to see you. Thank you for having me in your episode, and I'm so excited.
So, Saurabh, I want you to first talk about a little more about what do you do apart from being an author, and of course, I know you're doing training programs. You have amazing followers on Instagram, they only grow by the day or maybe by the hour. I must say that. So, how do you do this? Is something I want to ask.
Super.
What
So
is
I
the
think it's
secret?
just the
What is your
consistency
secret?
that
What is
defines.
secret? Sorry, go ahead, please. Yeah.
Yeah, I just think that the consistency defines it all. So
Mhm.
when you create content and add values in lives of people, it just helps you in growing. So I think that's the answer to your second question. And the first question, apart from entrepreneurship and running training programs, what do I generally do? I think that's pretty much what I do. And I am an influencer. I run an agency in Chennai, and I run an institute also. So that's pretty much my portfolio and profile like. Besides this, I love making videos on YouTube. I'm a blogger, so pretty much a digital guide. That's basically about me.
Okay, Saurabh, so we're talking, and you talk a lot about building your personal brand on Instagram. So, how would you define your personal brand on Instagram? I'll start with that question, and then we go to the specifics of the question on Instagram.
Okay, so fantastic. So my personal brand on Instagram is all about helping people in discovering how to establish themselves as a coach or consultant or as a business person, as an entrepreneur, or
Okay.
let's say whatever your core expertise is on Instagram. So that's what I specialize in. That's how my personal brand is, and that's what I do. I keep researching a lot on what's the new trend on Instagram, what should people do, how should they adapt the new trend, and I keep sharing those knowledge with the world out there.
Okay. So, my first question, which is there with us from our viewers, which had come in, was who actually needs an Instagram account? Is it only for the youngsters or is it for everyone? I want you to throw more light on that. So, what profile of people should have Instagram is something that I would like you to answer.
What profile of people should have Instagram? I believe that today Instagram is used by different set of people. I would say from 13 to 65, or even more than that. I
Okay.
would say. So I don't
Mhm.
have a category. I don't have a category restriction saying that this is the only age group that should be using Instagram. But predominantly anybody who's aiming at growing followers and wants to engage them on a day-to-day basis in a much more convenient way than Facebook, then Instagram is a platform to be on. So that's why I recommend Instagram today. If you see, most of the entrepreneurs or coaches are pretty much most active on Twitter or on Instagram, but not much on Facebook.
So, how are the three different? If you could throw some light, and where do you need to exist? Because they say choose one, social media platform to excel in, or be core in. So, do you recommend all of them, and where? Why should one choose either of them? Is something I want you to tell us.
So I believe that when you try to be everywhere, you become, jack of all trades, and you don't
Okay.
become master of anything. So it is also very time consuming.
Mm.
It's also basically not very easy to grow all the channels at a stretch. So
Okay.
the recommendation would be that you focus on one channel, and then you try to grow the channel very strong, and then you try to use the channel to popularize your other channels out there. So that's what my recommendation would be for people who are trying to build their personal brand. on any of the platforms. So instead of, I see people do multiple things. They do podcasts and they do YouTube also. Then they are on Instagram, then they're tweeting, then they're on LinkedIn. So they try to be everywhere. Now, when they try to be everywhere, there's no focus on any one platform.
Okay.
And when they don't have a focus, they don't look at gradual growth of that platform. So when your focus is only on one platform and you're trying to optimize that, you are more likely to actually achieve a better engagement with your audience on that one platform. So focus at one at a time and then gradually shift to other platforms from there. That's what my recommendation would be.
Okay. So for coaches and trainers, let's go category wise. Instagram is a platform that would help them not only brand themselves, but also would it get them money.
Right. So that's an interesting question. So what happens is, specifically when people follow people on Facebook, they don't track them as much as they track people on Instagram, because
Okay.
Instagram shows how many followers you have. It shows people what stories have you posted. So there's a lot more. The UI, which is designed on Instagram, is a lot more convenient for people to connect with people. Okay. Now, what happens is, as a coach, it's easier for you to sell your courses or get people onto the webinar, and at the same time make people follow you too. So you earn a follower, and you also
Hmm.
invite them to your webinar, or you're trying to sell a course. So people might buy at that point of time, or they'll judge you enough on your Instagram, what kind of content you're posting. They'll attend your live sessions on Instagram, and eventually you'll see them buying your program. So that's pretty much what happens. So in a funnel, Instagram plays a prominent role in building that rapport with your audiences there, and that
Okay.
rapport is a lot more meaningful, rapport with the audience, because the audience is evaluating you from the value that you offer on a day-to-day basis. And
Okay.
that is a game changer, because sometimes even if you have 500 followers, they are more likely to be ardent follower of the content that you post. They'll come and check your profile every day if you have posted a content today. So
Okay.
predominantly it's a pull mechanism, and you don't have to push anything. You pull people into the system, by adding value and by running advertisements. So money making opportunities higher for a coach or consultant on Instagram, because it's easy for you to get a recommendation on Instagram from people and get them to tag you on your Instagram story, on their Instagram post, which becomes a real proof or example of people liking your content or liking the work that you do. So that's the kind of value that you can get back from your students or consumers, and you can make them talk about you also on social media. And that's the most important thing.
Okay. So for professionals, say I'm talking about people working in corporate, how important is an Instagram account?
I wouldn't say that for people working in corporate, depends upon the industry that you come from. If you're from a
Mm-hmm.
marketing and advertising, then I think Instagram is a great platform for you to learn what's working now. But if you're coming
Mm-hmm.
from, what do you say, if you're coming from a very serious B2B business background, then
Yeah.
Instagram is not the platform for you to be. So I think Instagram in specifics is for people who are into education, into entertainment, into arts and crafts. It's basically for people who are trying to revolve a business around themselves. But of course, it should not be very serious and heavy content business. It should be something that
Okay.
it's light and it's attracted, and it appeals the mass basically.
Okay. So I will go back to the response that you gave in terms of it's for people who are into, the trainers, coaches kind of people who are also into the B2C market, but lighter this thing. So I see a lot of these film stars, actors, celebrities. They are very, very, very popular on Instagram today, and they like to have a larger follower base on Instagram than on Facebook. And how much does this contribute, according to you, to they getting roles or they getting visibility in the OTT platform today? Because OTT is directly linked to your personal brand on social media today. So how much do you think is the linkage, and how good or what are your recommendations for that?
So is your question about how celebrities are predominantly using Instagram as as a highest of all priorities?
There are two questions to this. One, how are they using it? And two, how important is it for people who are not there, but yeah, want to make celebrities, or people who are in the acting space, or those kind of people, or who are into the who are artists, let me use that word, who want to get into the OTT platform. How important is Instagram handles, and how important is it for them to market themselves correctly on Instagram?
Okay, so it is very simple that if you are aiming at marketing, let's say talking from a celebrity's point of view, so celebrities have the added advantage of being popular in the offline world. So it is an easy affair for them to get followers because they're
Okay.
popular. They're popular. Like I have seen people literally having 20, 30,000 followers, and then suddenly they enter Big Boss and they come back and they get 5 lakh followers, right? So it's the mass appeal of the yeah, it's the mass appeal of the celebrity on Instagram uh, because of the mass appeal in the offline world. So the more popular you're in the offline world, the more popular you become in the online world. Having said
Okay.
this, some celebrities have taken responsibilities of using Instagram the level best and they have churned out huge business out of it. Like, for example, people like Shilpa Shetty, or I would say Malaika Arora, they are in
Yeah.
trend, in vogue also because they have smartly been using Instagram in order to connect with their consumers on a day-to-day basis, with their audiences on a day-to-day basis. Now, people who are fairly new on Instagram, I think if they are looking at the fame part of it, then they can focus a lot on producing reels because reels can help you get discovered on Instagram. And if you get discovered on Instagram, then you will automatically see followers growing. So their investment should be on reels because that's one of the new cool in the Instagram world. And also that's a replica of TikTok, so it becomes all the more prominent. So that's what you should basically be doing.
Okay. So all those people who are listening in and who are wanting to get into more followers, reels work. And this is irrespective of the fact that you're an art, you are in a celebrity or not, right? You're into it, right? So what you're recommending is reels
It
per
doesn't
se will
matter.
help you get it.
Yeah, helps big time because reels will get you to reels in the sense is good content in reels will help you in getting followers. So that's what matters basically.
Okay, perfect. So there's a question that I have is how important are organic followers as compared to paid followers? And I think a lot of people today do get paid followers. So how important is it to have organic followers?
I think organic followers is great. It's not about the importance of organic versus paid. It's about the speed in which you want to achieve success. Okay.
Okay,
If
okay.
you're aiming at achieving success pretty soon, if you're aiming at achieving success pretty soon, then you got to make investments in paid advertising and getting paid followers. When I say paid followers, I mean followers to advertisements. If you are having enough patience and you want to test a lot of content, you want to collaborate with influencers and then wait for the organic success to happen, it's not guaranteed because, you know, people might like your content, might not like your content, might discover your content, might not discover your content organically. But through paid,
Okay.
you have the opportunity to knock on someone's door and say them I exist. And if you like my work, follow me. This makes a lot of people reject you, but also makes a lot of people come and check out your Instagram profile and follow you. So you can instantly get followers and constantly you can see your gradual growth with respect to people willing to invest in the programs that you try to do.
Okay. So you do recommend paid followers in case you want a faster pace of growth, is what you're selling me, sort of.
Absolutely. If you want to see if you are in the space of, let's say, you are a coach, you're a consultant, you are an author, and you're aiming at growing your followers because you want to sell a product that you have, then you can't really wait for the organic success to happen. To be
True.
honest, to be honest, organic uh, is basically is largely a lot of effort affair. You have to really put in a
Okay.
lot of effort in creating content to actually see your money box opening. Now, what happens is people who start waiting for the organic success to happen, those are people who literally go ahead and create content, and they get exhausted. They're like, oh my god, it's not working for me. So my recommendations to people would be that you should do less effort in great piece of content, put less effort in creating one masterpiece of content, and try
Okay.
to optimize your profile through paid methods to introduce your profile to the world, so that you get to see visibility and what you so that you see in something that evokes interest in you, and that's important. Yeah.
Beautiful. That's a very interesting perspective, Saurabh, because most of the time when we think of paid followers, it's a very negative connotation that comes to the minds of a lot of people I know and work with. So, Saurabh, I see a lot of social marketing agencies springing up today, and most of them, when you ask them, they say, "Oh, we'll increase your follower base," and what they do typically is they ask, they have a lot of bots which work, right? Or they have these fake IDs which work, and suddenly, it looks like you have 40,000 followers or a lakh of followers, and then 10 people liking your post or 5 people liking your post. So, how do you leverage that, and what is your solution to that?
So it's very simple. I believe that if people are happy getting fake followers, I think you should just invest in getting fake followers, because if that's defining your happiness. But after a
Yeah.
certain point of time, you will feel extremely depressed of the fact that these bots don't engage. And people will start DMing you, asking you this question: how much did you spend to buy fake followers? And that will be more depressing for you than the fact that people are not engaging. So people are smart today and they know that you have purchased fake followers. So there's no point doing that bit. But if I'm just saying, if that is pleasing your anxiety and making you happy, go for it. But having said this, there are agencies that will promise you followers and will get you fake followers because you're not aware. So it's important that you learn how to grow followers through the right paid methods. So many people
Okay.
don't do that. They still focus at on the organic ways, but they don't want to invest in learning how can I really understand the advertising. They do that promotion post. They have this option called promoted post, or promote the post out there, but that will
Yeah.
not get you followers. You need to really learn how to run Facebook advertisements on Instagram to drive people to check your profile out, and that will grow your followers.
Okay, so that's interesting. That's really, really interesting, and I think that is quite. So I think that was a question that was, how do you organically or even otherwise? Now you've told us in our paid followers. How do you actually engage your with your followers on Instagram? Suppose I have a post and I just have 5 comments, right? How do I ensure that more engagement comes on the post, and how do you do that?
I think it's pure it's a pure game of experimentation. When you
Okay.
post a lot of selfies and your personal photos in great exotic locations, you'll get a lot of likes, but you won't see a lot of people saving your post or sharing your post. Okay.
Yeah.
But when you add value, when you add tips, you talk about tools, you talk about ways, you talk about how to's, and you really
Mm,
educate the audience out there, you'll eventually
mm.
see them saving and sharing your post. So you should create
Okay.
content that can be shared by people. Selfies don't get
Okay.
shared by people. Okay. When you share a valuable piece of content, people are more likely to save and share. Now the fact is, a lot of people say, sort of, I have 3,000 followers, and I when I post interesting piece of content, my people don't like, they don't comment, they don't share, because these
Yeah.
are people that you have built because of your personal rapport, right?
Okay.
So let's say you have 1,000 followers and you're suddenly starting to talk about how to start a coaching ecosystem or how to start a business. Your friends will think, what's wrong with you? Why are you talking about it all of a sudden? So that's why it is insisted that you build your followers for the content type that you're trying to post. Right from the way that you optimize your Instagram bio, okay, and the content that you post and the descriptions that you use, and the way you encourage people in your description to leave a comment below, is the way you increase the engagement with your post. Besides this, you need to have the consistency in a style of posting. Like every Monday for last 2 years, I have been posting new things in digital, and that brings people to come and check your profile. So as an influencer, it's your responsibility to talk about the latest trends that makes people that gives people a reason to come and check your profile out.
Okay, that's interesting, actually. Very, very interesting. So, you're saying that you need to create consistent content and that will ensure more engagement. There's a way to actually put the content across. But sort of, I have a question here. Though my selfie may not get shared or it may not get a lot of, but I do get a lot of comments on my selfie and a lot of likes. So somewhere it's an ego boost to put up nice pictures or pictures uh, uh, is what I wanted to ask. So how important is it to have an end objective in mind when you're actually starting a Instagram page for yourself?
I think you need to be very mindful about what you're doing on Instagram,
Yeah.
because Instagram can drain you out in the world of comparisons. It might put you into a spot, make you more anxious, because you keep comparing someone else's followers, what they are doing, what your competitors are doing. So it's something that it might just, so it's very important that your end goal of your Instagram should be, can I just spend 30 minutes, add value in lives of people on this platform, and then come back again next day to see what people have commented and can I respond to them. So sometimes you have to do minimal stuff, but the end goal of everything that you try to do is this post going to help people in any way? Three questions that you got to ask: how can this help people? Why would somebody save this post? And why would somebody share this post? If you have a reason for this, then you will be in a position to create content in a way that is liked by your audiences. Most of the times, we don't understand what our audience want. We just go deliver content because we believe that we should just create content. That doesn't work. You have to understand what your audience wants and deliver exactly what your audience wants. So that's when the game changes for you.
Okay, so two questions here. I'll park one of them for now. How do you identify what your audience wants? So, for somebody who's starting off as a coach, as a trainer, and I'm going to ask them because I have a lot of them on this, as following us right now also. How do you identify what does your
So
uh,
there,
you know audience wants? Because there is already so much of content available on the net. You do a google.com, you have answers to everything today. Yeah.
right. So if you use the answerthepublic.com, which is the tool that can help you in figuring out, with respect to your topic, what exactly people want to know. So use
Okay.
answerthepublic.com to figure out what kind of questions your audience have on the mind. Okay. The second
Okay.
important thing that you have to take into consideration is you have to really define your audience. Okay. And after
Okay.
you define the audience, figure out what are the top 5 pains that your audience might be going through. Number one, let's say if my audience is a social, Instagram wants to grow their Instagram followers. I know their pain is that they want to grow a lot of followers. Their pain is that they want to get the right kind of content going. Their pain is
True.
that they want to earn money through Instagram. Their pain is basically they don't want to feel anxious and get worked up by looking at Instagram. Their pain is that they've been comparing their lives with someone else all the time. So I know these are their pain points. So what I'll do is, considering their pain points, what can be given as a relief is a solution or the content. So then I start crafting the content as per the pain point or the problem of my audience. So understanding of your audience and understanding your audience is very important for you to actually define what are you going to deliver to them, because most of the times people don't even know on Instagram who they are talking to. They're just talking to everyone out there, posting things that they believe that the audience will like. For example, if you are a person who's into talking about the mental health of women and suddenly you start talking about it and you have not built an audience for it, your friends and family will think, what's wrong? Why are you talking about it all the time? So you have to take the effort either through webinars to give more value there and ask people to follow your Instagram so that they can be updated all the time. Or you run advertisements to introduce your profile to those people who are going through depression or anxiety so they can check your profile out and follow you. So you need to really take these factors into consideration or in the process.
So just like on Facebook, we have a profile and a page. Can you have a same differentiation, or should you have a same differentiation in Instagram also? So I have friends and family where I want to put my selfies and my parties, pictures, and all that for that engagement. But I also run a business, and I cannot have a separate page for that. And how would you recommend keep the two separate, if at all you?
I wouldn't recommend to do something like that, because if you want to really do showcase what you have been doing in parties with your friends and family, you have Facebook for that already now.
Okay.
And then you have WhatsApp statuses where you can post all of these. I
Okay.
believe that if you have energy to maintain two profiles, then you do that. But I know people do not have that kind of energy and discipline to maintain two profiles. So it's better that is one profile. And genuinely, when people look at you on Instagram, how a random audience is really. So what happens is, for your friends and family, figure out how many, 50 friends, 100 friends, 300, 500. So those people can be on your WhatsApp and your Facebook, and you can show them what you want to show them. But I
Hmm.
think your Instagram can go very specific. So I wouldn't recommend that you maintain profile and page and then do something on your profile and something on your page. No, there's only one identity that you create on Instagram, and let that identity become stronger with time, so that even your personal audiences feel that your Instagram is very powerful and there's so much of value and there's so much to learn from your Instagram. So that your Instagram is a new avatar for you. Because if you are doing the same thing that you're doing on Facebook, then why are you even using Instagram? Rather be on Facebook and do the same thing that you have been doing all your life. So when you are moving on to Instagram, or you're starting up with Instagram, or you are on Instagram, let there be a direction on Instagram, because there's an opportunity today to organically achieve success and through paid methods to achieve success and to become someone meaningful and become a stronger influencer and achieve opportunities to collaborate with brands, businesses, and create a visible, prominent identity because of Instagram.
Beautiful. I think that's an amazing piece of advice there, Saurabh, to have only one profile, focus all your energies there and make that grow. Saurabh, you've been using two terms very often. One is, you need to save a post and you need to share a post, right? So can you tell our viewers what is the difference between saving and sharing, and how does it impact your brand value on Instagram?
No, it's not that you will save and share. People can save. There's
Yeah.
an option on Instagram where people save. When they save the
Huh.
post, which means they're interested to come and check you out later or the post later. So if they save the post, that means they found your content valuable. When they
Okay.
share the post, they want someone else to discover the content that you have posted. So in the metrics, we are glued to only number of likes, but you check insights. When you use the business page of Instagram, you can check the
Hmm.
insights, and that will show you how many people have liked your post, how many people have saved your post, and how many people have shared your post. People are always
Okay.
stuck with the number of likes and comments, but
Yeah.
what matters is how many people have saved and shared. People who have saved and shared your post are the people who are willing to buy what you're going to sell in the future.
Wow, that's an amazing insight, I believe, for all the people who are listening to this podcast.
Hi, am I audible? I just wanted to check. Hello.
Yeah, Saurabh, I think we'll go back. Yeah, there was a network issue. Yeah, Saurabh, you need to unmute yourself, Saurabh.
I'm not sure if you
Just
can. Hi, am
trying.
I visible to you guys? Just a quick check.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, it just went off, I believe. Yeah.
Hi. Was there any challenge with the internet connection?
I think there was some drop in the internet because of which it
Hi.
just stopped completely. So we're back on track. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Super. Was it from your side, from my
Okay,
side?
so I don't know. I think both of them went blank all of a sudden. First yours went blank, then mine went blank. So we just started off
Okay,
again. Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah. So there's another question. Okay, this has been asked. There's another one which is that how do you translate Instagram followers to YouTube?
There's no way that you can translate. You just can communicate people that you are on YouTube and you have to post stories and just put a little bit of glimpse and then say watch it on YouTube. You can just say swipe up
Okay.
on your Instagram story and make people go on your YouTube. So you have to introduce your YouTube to the world out there. That's how it works.
Okay. So I would like to ask you another question which is coming. Is the biggest mistake people make when they market themselves on Instagram?
What are the biggest mistakes people make when they're marketing themselves? The
The
only
top three
mistake is,
mistakes out of shared experience.
yeah, I think first mistake is that people are not very serious about their profiles content. So they don't even post content and then they start promoting that page. So people are like, they just don't see a reason to follow you. That's number one. Second is people are not creative. Like Instagram gives you an opportunity to maintain your brand elements, colors, palettes. So they don't learn it. It's possible for you to learn that and create for your own. So they don't want to put that effort. That's number two. Number three, the mistake is that people are shying away from camera and making videos. So Instagram today wants you to make reels, make IGTV video, talk on story. That would be the third thing which I would recommend for you to do. So these are three important things to take into consideration.
Okay. Um, so there's another question which is there. One second. Some of the tips that you would give people to market themselves on Instagram.
I think the first tip would be that get your Instagram bio optimized. In the
Okay.
link in the bio, try to place your landing page so that people can check your products out. Post
Okay.
content which is going to add value in lives of people, and run
Mhm.
advertisements to drive people to check your profile out, which should be Instagram story advertisements. That's what I would recommend to you.
Okay. What would be your tips on how do you get money through Instagram? Some quick solutions on,
So you
getting
have to create, yeah, your money is how you post interesting, relevant content and tell in your description that the link
Hmm?
of the course is in bio. So people will click on the link in the bio and they shall make a purchase. So that is what is highly
Okay.
recommended of in the journey to
Good
take a
question.
decision. Yeah.
Google got
In order to, yeah, so that's what they got to do to make money. You can actually use Instagram stories to create a sense of urgency. Just release 20 products at a price that people have not believed that you will release the product at that price, and eventually see people going and buying that product at that price. So you can attempt that. You can make people buy the product at the price at 5,999 or 6,000. Whatever, I mean, whatever the price is, give 50% off with only 10 products for that day or that week. And eventually, a lot of people might not want to miss the offer. So you have to test multiple things to drive sales on Instagram. And one of the best ways is to go Instagram live on Instagram and try to talk about the topic or the subject or the product and eventually give a great offer, or just tell people to DM you to get the link for them to purchase. So you have to do these two, three things in order to drive sale on Instagram.
Okay. And out of your experience, and you do a lot of training programs there, what is the maximum of person, a trainer or a coach? Okay, and
Well,
I'm talking about how much can they make in a month on Instagram through Instagram marketing?
see, it's not about how much can you make out of Instagram marketing. Okay, it's about how much can you invest in yourself. So I have students of mine. There are people who have made almost 8 lakh rupees in 3 months on Instagram. There are people who have made 50,000 rupees per month on Instagram consistently by giving one-on-one consulting. So I make anywhere between 50 to 20 lakh rupees on an average every month, considering what I'm selling that particular month. Like it might be a course, it might be my agency services. So it largely depends upon how you invest in yourself that makes people trust you. And eventually, when you sell, you serve. So money is a by component on Instagram of the activity that you do. And when you learn to sell on Instagram, you learn to serve. And when people see that you're serving them, they don't mind buying and purchasing the things that you're trying to sell. So that's what I would say. Today, if you see a lot of businesses, handicrafts, attire, kurtis, I would say even food for that matter, is very highly recommended off on Instagram. So to make
Okay.
money on Instagram is to keep your Instagram profile active and collaborations with other influencers and making people talk about you, which is influencer marketing. So these are three important things for you to take into consideration.
Okay. So, how important is it? You said consistency is the key, and that's what you said at the start of it in terms of content, and that has been the reason for your success. Adding value to people's life and consistently doing that. How important is it to create original content vis-a-vis repackaged content? So, what are your take? What is your recommendation? And how would you tell a person who's starting off to work on their consistency and authenticity?
Okay, the fact is, original content is too mainstream, so you can't really get stuck in your journey because you are aiming to create original content, right? So you have to learn how to create smart piece of content. Like you can interview experts, and then you can take the Q&A and just post that there. You can go live on Instagram, and you can allow people to come live with you. Uh, Instagram allows people to come live with you, so they will ask you questions. So you answer their questions. You can put that. So you can just chop that videos up there, cut that up, and upload it right there on Instagram. So I believe that sometimes you can't focus only on original content. You have to repurpose, refurbish. You can collate content. If you see people like Jay Shetty's
Yeah.
Instagram is not. I think it's just 10% of content is his content. The rest 90% is curated content. So understand you need to learn to curate content and create content. Even curation of content in your subject can be of a great value to people. That how creation of content would be of great value to people. Clear?
Okay, so I want you, for the benefit of others, what is the difference between curating content and creating content? Because a lot of people get lost there, who are not from the training community, kind of, or trainers,
Let's
coaches,
let's say
makers. Yeah.
let's say example.
Huh.
Um, Curating content is basically about let's say you want to say top 5 tools in digital marketing. This is just curation of content, right? Creation of content is when you say 3 important digital marketing strategy that you need to follow for 2021. That's something coming from your brain and experience. So that's curation and creation. That's how the differentiation is basically.
Okay. So there's a question which came on our WhatsApp, and we've been asked. The team backend is actually putting it here. For a small business like handicraft, baking, the smaller businesses, how much time should they ideally invest on Instagram per day? So is there a right time, optimum time to spend on Instagram?
There's no optimal time. If you're making money out of Instagram, spend all your life there.
That was a good one, Sarah. Sir, what is the best
So,
time to post? That's the next question we keep hearing very often. What time of the day should you post so that you get maximum likes and you can, maximum reach? Is there something
okay,
like that?
okay, Nandita, it's very simple. Your Indian audience is predominantly very active between 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. So that is when
Mhm.
it is recommended off. But honestly, it's basically every profile and every audience, every person has their own audience and they have their own timing to come
Yeah.
live or watch you or see your content. So predominantly, you have to analyze that. There's a tool called Iconosquare, which is a paid tool which helps you in understanding your followers when are they most active. So it might
Oh,
be
beautiful.
Monday 12 p.m. or 12 a.m. Yeah. So you can then post the content accordingly. So you have to analyze that and then create content.
So can you give the name of that tool again? I think there was a sound. This thing you missed out.
It's called Iconosquare. Icono and Square. Square. Iconosquare.
Okay, and it's a paid tool, and you would know what time typically your content people get engaged. Okay, so in
Right,
case
right,
you
right.
are looking at a global audience, you don't have to stick to the 7 to 9 thing. Okay.
Pretty much, pretty much, pretty much.
There's another one. How does digital marketing skills impact our day-to-day life? And I'm asking you, how important is it for a person into business to know basics of digital marketing skills
I think
rather than just always hire?
see, you have to understand in pandemic, the only skill that survived the most was the digital skill. Because if in the pandemic digital did not survive, you wouldn't have done enough WhatsApp games. You wouldn't have watched enough movies. You wouldn't have done the number of video calls that you did during the lockdown. You wouldn't have cooked really good food because YouTube was there for your rescue to make the best of the best food, right? So I believe digital was your survival kit. So now, if you master it, it's good not just for business, but for you as an individual. It's one thing that is required and it's the need of the hour, and it is the future. So it's better. There's no question. How can digital marketing skill impact us? I will ask you a question. How much time do you spend on digital, and how does it impact you and improvise you on a day-to-day basis? If it's helping you in some way, or if it's not helping you in some way, because some people get agitated looking at digital. So if it's not helping you, or if it's helping you, put that help or no help, I would say helplessness, into the right direction and try to build your stronger profile on this platform.
Okay. Uh, how important is it for business owners or trainers and coaches to actually have some idea of how their content gets put on the social media vis-a-vis? It's not that they have to do it, but is it important for them to have some knowledge on that to market themselves, or it's convenient to just outside, hire an outside agency? So, what of the two would you recommend there?
I believe it's about the amount of time that you have. So I wouldn't say that what's right or what's wrong. You can even
Mm-hmm.
outsource it to an you can even outsource to an agency, plan, give it to them, tell them what you want, work with them, so that you can set the best of the standards for yourself. But the problem is that the agencies today do not like to work with individuals much. So it's better that you master the skill yourself and drive it. I would say that both are okay, considering how much time can you give to this subject. So if you can't give enough time, outsource it. If you can give enough time, then do it yourself.
But if you have a basic knowledge, it does outsource. So it's like that thing today when you go to the doctor, you know what your problem is. You start telling the doctor what the issue is. So do as social media. Thanks to Google, we know everything today, right, Saurabh? So does that also affect or impact when we go to social media agencies to understand, okay, to help us actually reach out our content to better people?
Okay. So I didn't get your question exactly, Nandita. I'm sorry.
So the question is, how important is it to know what you're doing in terms of you having as a business owner, as a small time business owner, how important it is for you to know the social media basics before you reach out to an agency?
I believe that you should do certain courses to upgrade your knowledge. Everybody should go through a digital marketing course or Instagram influencer courses, because even if you're outsourcing to an agency should not fool you. So you should know everything about it, but you don't have to execute it. Get it executed so that you know what are you getting executed, what should you be tracking, how much should you be investing, so that nobody can fool you in the subject.
Okay. So, Saurabh, you are an expert on building your personal brand on Instagram. That's what you've been known in the country for. So, what are your three tips for people who, again, are? I'm going to ask you two parts to this question. One is people who are in the entrepreneur space. How would they? What are the three questions they need to ask themselves to build their personal brand on a digital platform? And what are three things that a person in the corporate industry world, and I'm talking about B2C market people, but working for a corporate, what are the three things they need to keep in mind when they think of building their personal brand on a digital platform?
I believe if you are, so the only thing that you have to understand is that everybody, whoever it is, regardless of you come from a B2C or a B2B, regardless of you come from a corporate or a non-corporate background, You should understand that the first thing that they should do is understand that the personal branding is an investment of time and effort and energy and money. So you need to be aware of it and then plan yourself and make your mindset shift that yes, I'm going to make an investment in myself and in the program. So that's gradually activity number one. Activity number two for everyone is learn how to build a funnel. People build followers, people get subscribers, people get likes. But how can you tangibly convert these people to become part of your email list, of your WhatsApp list, so that you have a closer connection with these audiences? That's where the funnel starts working. Now, in the funnel, try to bring them to a free offering, a free webinar, or a free program, or a free initiative that actually makes people learn from you outside of social media. And
Okay.
through that, you build a better rapport with people so that when you're trying to sell something to them, they're more likely to take interest in what you're trying to sell to them. And that's when the value add starts happening for you.
Okay. So those were the two things that you said one needs to do. What is an ideal time for a video that you create? So obviously beyond a certain point, it moves to IGTV, but what is an ideal time a video should have on Instagram? So there are recommendations for Facebook, there are recommendations for LinkedIn, and for even for YouTube. So what is your recommendation for
What do you mean
an
by ideal?
Instagram video? Yeah,
What
if
do you
you
mean
want to
by
make
ideal
a
time?
video, yeah.
What do you mean by ideal time here, Nandita?
In terms of say they typically say that a video should if you make a video beyond 30-90 seconds, your viewership drops in certain cases.
No, no
There
rule
are
book. No,
different that's what I'm
no.
asking.
There's no rule book for that. I think that you should just create content on topic that's close to your heart. That's something that
Okay.
you're very passionate about. And there's no rule book for it. Even if you're creating, I would suggest that 1 minute to 2 minute videos are good enough for you to start with. And today they have brought in reels. So 30 seconds is a restriction. So do your magic in 30 seconds.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Okay. So, what would, okay, last couple of questions that I have is what would you recommend for people who are, already there, okay, but want to still go further in terms of building their brand and monetizing their brands in terms of ads or anything? So, anything specific that you'd like to share with them? So, I have a list of followers, but I want to capitalize on it to become an influencer. Any recommendations for them?
I think you should learn how to monetize your Instagram by collaborating with brands and businesses so that they
Okay.
can pay you for paying per post or per story. That is when
Okay.
you can actually start making money through Instagram as well. So my recommendation would be that figure out influencer marketing agencies in the country, send your profile to roll them and tell them what subject do you cover, and they are more likely to take interest in what you're trying to sell. So that's what is important for you.
So, are there influencer marketing agencies in this country? And if you have anyone, would you like to recommend to our viewers here?
There, there's no, I don't have any recommendations for it. But if you go
Okay.
on Google and search for it, there's a lot of them. Just Google and you'll figure out a lot.
Okay. Okay. And do you also do that sort of as an agency?
Yes, I run an influencer agency myself. I mean, influencer marketing is part of us. So we do that.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And you run a lot of courses which teach people on how to build their brand on the social media and all. Uh, if somebody, and I'm asking a question, if today somebody wants to start something similar, you said webinars, the funnel needs to be prepared, there has to be a webinar. If somebody is not in that kind of a space wherein you are into the teaching, learning, coaching industry, how do you actually use Instagram to actually market yourself?
So you have to still understand that the funnel is still going to activate for you. You don't do webinars, but you might want to build the audience on your Telegram group. And you have to, whatever you are into, you have to eventually sell something to make money out of it, right? So whether you're selling a course or you're coaching or you're consulting or the product, but something has to be sold in order to make money. Or it can be just even an Excel sheet for that matter, where you're giving certain kind of a valuable information to people. So that the mantra of making money is same here. Now, just the templates of how you produce content will change
Okay.
from industry to industry. So even if you're an entrepreneur, even if you're an entrepreneur, you will use Instagram to tell story about what's happening in your business and how you're making this particular product. So people trust you to buy that product. So as an entrepreneur, it can be storytelling. As a coach or consultant, it can be a value add. As a person making crafts and into music, you showcase your talent enough and still educate your audience. The core of everything is educating your audience, whether you're a coach or not a coach, whether you're an entrepreneur, not an entrepreneur. The core of your personal branding in the Instagram world or in the social media world is helping the world out there. If you're helping people by sharing your knowledge, you will attract more value back from people in format of money or in format of help or in format of followers. So that's what you need to focus on.
So thank you, Saurabh, for those amazing insights. In fact, a lot of aha moments for me also here in this program. Thank you so much for coming in and answering the questions. And in case we do have more questions, we would be posting them to you in the future. So thank you so much for
Thank you.
coming in.
Thank you so much, Nandita. Have a good evening. Thank you for hosting me and wishing you best. Take care.
Thank you. Bye bye.